Welcome to Political News and Views with Congressman Ed Towns of Brooklyn, New York, representing the 10th Congressional District, programming with your concerns in mind. And now, your host, Congressman Ed Towns.
Welcome to News and Views. I'm delighted today to have with me Congressman Greg Meeks from Queens, New York. Of course, I've been in Congress now for about 10 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And also with me is Congressman Danny Davis from Chicago. They refer to it as Chi-Town.
That's right.
Delighted to have you with us as well.
Windy City.
Windy City on the Ways and Means Committee. That's the tax writing committee. And also we have with us Congressman William Clay from Jr. from St. Louis, Missouri, and the person that's responsible for overseeing the census. So we're definitely happy to have you, because this is the time that we begin to start looking and thinking about the census and trying to get an accurate count. But before we get started, let me just start out with the stimulus package. First of all, what do you think about the stimulus package?
Well, from my viewpoint, the economy's in such bad shape that we've got to put some money in there to try to create some jobs. And I know President Obama was his first thing is jobs, jobs, jobs. So we got $787 billion. And the question is, what does the mayors and the governors of the cities do with the money, since we don't have any earmarks or anything in the bill? I think it's the right thing to do. The question is whether it's enough money and whether it goes far enough.
Well, the only problem with that, don't you think, though, sometimes that the elected official that represents the area, the congressman, is aware of what really is needed in the area, and that sometimes being you're closer to it, that a recommendation from you as to what should happen with the money is important, don't you think?
That's my point exactly. It's going to go to someone else, and we don't know whether or not it will go into the most needed communities. And I think that's the point that the Congressional Black Caucus is always pointing out, because we want to make sure that individuals who are in the most need are not left out, and don't put it in the hands of an individual who may not take care of the neediest of individuals. And who better knows where to put money than those of us who represent districts.
Right, thank you. Let me just move to you, Danny. I know you're responsible for the second chance and all, and you know how important jobs are, but the stimulus package, what's your views on it?
Well, let me just say, first of all, it's kind of nice for me to be in the presence of 3 African-American males all at the same time, and we're not down at the precinct. Four black men.
But we all have a job, Danny.
And you all got a job. I mean, just imagine. You all got a job. You're not at the precinct. I mean, this is super. I mean, this is great. This is wonderful. Unbelievable. I think that the stimulus package, of course, you can always quibble with anything. It's not enough money, not as much as we would have wanted to see, if you believe the economists who tell you that the best way out of a depression is to spend your way out. But I think in an overall sense, while some of the specifics may be shady, you got to look at the fact that if money is circulated, and so I'm glad to know that the hospitals, for example, in my district and other districts that have Medicaid patients are now going to be able to get some of their money from the states that owe them, so that the nurses and the orderlies and everybody can take the money that they get, go down to the local grocery store and buy some groceries, so the clerks will be working. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the stimulus, is to circulate money throughout the environment so that everybody can get a little piece of it, and that's supposed to stimulate the economy. And I think it's an excellent deal. It was like tailor-made for my district.
Mm-hmm. What about your district, Congressman Clay?
Well, first of all, Mr. Chairman Ed Towns of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I
your
appreciate
new chairmanship.
Appreciate your kind words.
I voted for the stimulus package like we all did, because I wanted the package to create jobs and to maintain jobs, especially in Missouri. I represent St. Louis, Missouri, and as my friend Nellie calls it, the Lou. But being a representative of that area, I agree with Greg. We are going to have some difficulties when we deal with infrastructure projects, or what they call shovel-ready projects. I know that right now the entire Missouri congressional delegation, we are in talks with our governor and with our transportation agency about what projects should be priority, which roads should be reconstructed, which bridges should be built, which bridges should be reinforced, which highways should we resurface. What and I guess the emphasis is what creates the most jobs. What do you get the most bang for the buck out of this package? And we all represent districts very similar in nature. Mm-hmm. All of us have Dr. Martin Luther King drives that need some help. Yeah. We all have double the unemployment rate of the rest of the state. So I am looking for the most bang for the buck, and it's going to be our oversight, your committee's oversight, that will help us the most in ensuring that those jobs connect to our constituents.
Right. Well, what about these governors? And I've not heard any mayors, but I've heard some governors say, well, we don't want the money.
Republican governors.
Republican governors, yeah. And the state has a deficit. And they're saying, we do not want the money. I mean, what do you do in a case like this? I mean, maybe more basic. I mean, what do you think their thinking is?
I don't know what their thinking is, but there should be a rule. We should put a bill on the floor that those governors that don't want the money, give it to the states that want the money.
Well,
use some more. But I think they got to be. I think they're playing politics. Obviously, when you look at the governor of South Carolina, the governor of Louisiana, governor of Louisiana is trying to run for president already, and so he's trying to appeal to a particular base, and he is at the sacrifice of his constituents and the people of Louisiana who were victimized by levees breaking, etc. He decided that he doesn't want that money to play to the National Republican Party. That is shameful in my estimation, and that's the only way that I can see you can justify it, because it's not justifiable, is that you're trying to play to another audience, not to your constituents.
Mr. Chairman, there is a provision with the highway money, with the road dollars, that says that you either use it or you lose it, and if a state turns back those dollars, then other states can compete for that. Those dollars.
Well, I got a better remedy. I mean, all the money that they don't want, just send it to Chicago.
To New York.
I'll take every dime.
But there is a provision in the bill, you know, that if the governors turn it down, the state legislatures have an opportunity to say, okay, we want it. And they can try to figure out and make a vote for it, and then they can go through the state.
And they can distribute it.
And they can distribute it.
Yeah. But I really feel that a state that has a deficit, a state that has high unemployment, a state like, for instance, Louisiana has had all kinds of problems in terms of Katrina, and knowing that people are unemployed, it seemed to me, I don't care what your politics might be, that you would have to say, I need the resources to be able to help people get jobs, to help people get back into their homes. I don't see what kind of politics that would allow you to say, I don't want the money because I'm now going to run for president. I mean, that to me just doesn't make any political sense.
But they're playing